But first, let's talk about what's hot now. I don't know. I know what's coming off the pants. Did you watch Donald Trump on SNL? A lot of you didn't. A few did. Yeah, despite protests by Latino groups, millions tuned in, giving Saturday Night Live its highest ratings since 2012. And the first one to point that out, of course, was Donald Trump, yes. But was it funny? Let's start with a monologue. It was interrupted by a heckler who turned out to be Larry David. That was a reference to an offer by a protest group that said if anybody were to yell something out, they would give them $5,000. I believe they're going to give it to him. But even from at that point, first of all, I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think going soft on that kind of an issue by SNL was particularly funny. And the entire hour and a half, to me, was, not so great.
It's true. This completely backfired on SNL and Lorne Michaels. They knew this was going to be the biggest ratings they're going to have for years. They should have made the show funny. Who cares if Trump was on it or not? It was not funny.
Do you think they went soft on him because apparently he nixed a lot of sketches?
Yeah, to me, the opening monologue, to me, I thought was funny. It was so much the one note, and it seemed very uncomfortable, even the people around him. It seems like he had his hand really in there, and that's why it was stalled, because he could have done characters. He could have done a lot of things. He didn't have to keep referencing that he was Trump and how obnoxious he can be at times.
But he did the same joke over and over and over again. And one thing I noticed watching the whole show is he wasn't even on that much.
Only 12 minutes.
And there's a lot of guest stars. It's like putting a lot of good people around someone who's bad.
Yeah,
well, I know one person who did not watch, and that's Liliana. Right.
No, I didn't. Obviously, I didn't miss anything. I kind of knew I wasn't going to miss anything. But yeah, I stood with, the NHLA, which is the National Hispanic Leadership Agenda. And you know what? I don't think racism is funny.
I don't either.
There's millions of people across this country that don't think racism is funny. So for the 10 million, we'll see what the numbers are, that did watch, I'm sorry you wasted your Saturday night.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But they missed a huge opportunity here. The cast, the writers could have done skits that Trump was not even in. They could have had the funniest skits ever to show everyone this is what SNL is. Come watch us again, because they knew all those eyeballs were going to be on, and they totally missed them.
And I don't think the 10 million people that watched thought racism was funny. I think they wanted to see what Donald Trump was going to do to address the issues and the things that he said in a funny way, because humor can hear
something that was very pointed about racism, because they take on issues at SNL. They didn't have to turn it into a joke. Yeah, it was a joke against those people who screamed that this was racist.
I agree it was wrong, but I think why the people tuned in was to see if he was going to address it in the right way. He didn't, but that's why people turned in, not because he's racist or to support that.
People that watched, I don't think that at all. I definitely don't think that at all. I think that for me personally, and whoever agrees with what I feel, racism isn't funny, and I don't want to watch Donald Trump on SNL. That's it. I don't think people that watched are racist.
Some people, though, say there was one good sketch. It was when he wasn't talking, actually. It was a spoof of Drake's Hotline Bling music video. So Jay plays that.
This was funny. Look at him. This is like, if you're going to poke fun at yourself and have fun, that was the funniest moment of the show, and you had to wait for a while to find it. Right. We finally got the beat, which was fun.
Well, that was the one time it looked like he actually let his guard down and just had fun. But the rest of it, I was very uncomfortable, because I didn't, to me, everyone performing with him seemed like they were very on guard. You have to be, in comedy, you have to be able to go and have, break boundaries and just be loose, not uptight and worried about what you're trying to, do performance-wise.
He was a control freak, and I guarantee he told them they can't do this, can't do that, and so it's scared to be.
While he's busting a move on SNL, his Republican competitor Ben Carson has been pushing back against reports scrutinizing his life story. It started last week when CNN started doing some digging in his past and said, we can't find one person who says that this was a violent kid, that he had that kind of violence in his past. And then there were questions about him supposedly being offered a scholarship to West Point. Nobody could find proof of that. And then that he had protected white students during a race riot. And his response to all this has been, the media is out to get me, they're against me, and it's a backlash against the media, because I think something like, he got a lot of money in donations from people who support him as a result of the $3.5 million last week, who say, you know what, they are out to get you, what they're doing is wrong. What do you think?
This is a classic example of someone who's telling a lie so many times to begin to believe it, and he's beginning to believe his own truth. But it's the job of the media, whether you're Democrat or Republican, to research research, to look, to tell us what's fact and what's
when he
fiction.
says this is the narrative of his life.
This is his narrative, then it's the job as a former journalist. It's my job to find out if it's fact or fiction. If it's fiction, then it's fine. If it's if it's fact, it's
But he's saying nobody has been scrutinized like this.
They're all
Yes,
scrutinized.
they have. They're all scrutinized. And look, if you're going to make a living writing books, autobiographies, being a motivational speaker, a lot of motivational speakers out there embellish a lot of times, but they're not running for president. So you're going to get fact checked. Even in one of his books, he says that he's pathological. So he even admitted that he's pathological. I know.
Well, I want to just say that I said this last week. I told you he was not one of the sharks in West Side Story. And
Yes,
he keeps
you
trying
did.
to.
You
I
did
told
say
you
that.
he
You
ain't
did.
doing all of that stuff.
Because I was the innocent who said, oh, why would he make that up?
Because it's a good story.
It is a good story. But what it bothers me, because I'm a former journalist like you, and it kills me that any time that something comes out about someone, they always say it's the media. That the media is out to get me.
Well, we're not trying to do it get ya or caught ya.
Well,
you
sometimes they are.
You led us to the water. We're drinking.
Yeah,
we're the
exactly.
camels. You led us to the water.
All right, speaking of controversy, a year and a half after NFL star Greg Hardy was arrested and charged with attacking his then-girlfriend Nicole Holder, disturbing photographs allegedly showing a bruised Holder were released by Deadspin on Friday. We're going to show you one of them, and I want to caution you, it is a disturbing photo. Take a look at this. Okay, this is his former girlfriend. This is just released. This has renewed the controversy over the Dallas Cowboys signing of Hardy to a $13 million deal in March, long after this happened. Now, Dallas owner Jerry Jones said the team hadn't seen the photos before signing Hardy, but he said, we were aware of the serious nature of the incident. We do not condone domestic violence. And I think that he couldn't play 4 games. I think that was the punishment eventually. But
I have a question. Why does it take a video or graphic photos like this for us to understand that this is a massive issue in this country and it's a massive issue in the NFL? Why do I have to see that to get a reaction out of the NFL, out of the Players Association, and out of Jerry Jones?
Before that, they would have said there was a reaction. He basically didn't play out most of the year at North Carolina, and then he got a suspension that was reduced to 4 games.
But they still, but they knew
and that
what they
case
were
against
getting.
him was eventually dropped, wasn't it, on appeal?
Convicted.
So they would say that it went through the courts.
With that, and I think what we need to understand, because I was saying, as football players, you have a lot of men out there, and they don't get how important domestic abuse is to women, because we're the ones that are mostly victimized. Not to say that men aren't, and that woman, I really felt like his girlfriend. I wish she had stayed strong and really not dropped the case, because
she
we
didn't
need
show
women
up at the trial.
right?
Yeah,
and so something had deterred her from doing that. You have to try to stay strong and find an environment for yourself. I mean, I'm not a counselor or anything, but I think if more women just stand strong, we can stop this thing from happening. Don't turn your back. Don't sit down.
Women, no, you know where I had a problem? I agree with you. I'm not a big football fan, professional football, but I watched the game with my husband last night, and I was pissed because no player on that team or no one has taken a stand to say, we don't support him. We don't support Hardy. Why didn't anyone on that team, the Cowboys or Jerry Jones, it's someone, they all, I know they have contracts or whatever. It just takes one person on that team to say, I don't like it.
It shows you that football is a business. They only care about the bottom line. I am so disappointed in Jerry Jones.
Thank you.
That shows you his morals are not where the morals should be, Mr. Jerry Jones.
One really positive thing did come out of this. My husband is a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan, and there's a show there on sports radio, WIP in Philadelphia, and they raised $23,000 for the Genesis Women's Shelter in Dallas because they said, as Eagles fans, let's stop putting attention on him, let's stop complaining about him, and let's do something positive for the city of Dallas. So they have now raised $23,000. So at least they did the right thing.
Exactly. And the Cowboys lost the game as well. All right. If you were judging the judges on The Voice and thought Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani might be flirting, you were right. E! News has confirmed that Shelton and Stefani are indeed dating. And in July, we were shocked when we heard that he was splitting with his wife of 4 years, Miranda Lambert. And then we heard that Gwen Stefani and rock singer Gavin Rosedale also split in August after 13 years. I happened to see, I had a spotting. I was in L.A. Yes, you want to know more?
Yes.
I never spot anybody. And we were at this lovely restaurant, and I guess The Voice was shooting that day. And they started, Carson came in first, the host, and I know him through NBC, and he said hello. And then the rest of the entourage came through, and Gwen and Blake were together. Now, I'm not saying anything.
Holding hands,
were they canoodling?
I don't know, because we didn't get to go in their room. I'm not quite A level. So I was in the room in front of them. And they actually, everybody looked very happy, so.
I'm more concerned for Gwen. I love Gwen Stefani, and I think she's amazing. I'm more concerned for her because I think it is too soon. And Blake, I don't know him like that. I wish I did because I need some cash.
Why do you think, what makes it too soon?
He went from, he had his thing with his wife, and then all of a sudden Miranda just turned around, and now all of a sudden Gwen. I just want to know who's going to be after her.
We don't know how long it is, but I was going to say, it's like, they're in this, I call this the salad phase of dating. When you're in the meat phase, that means you're married. This is the salad phase. Everyone's happy and light, but they're at the CMAs. That's Miranda's lane. Get out of her lane a little bit.
You know what? Okay, but you know the old saying, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. So maybe that's what she's doing.
It must be love.
I've never heard that saying.
I have.
I gotta get out more.